Hello, friends, and welcome to the most glorious of events, the Movie Mavericks podcast. This outstanding program is hosted by two fine gentlemen, Jason and Trevor. Now make it so.
MovieMavericks.com.
Hey, now everybody, welcome to episode 398 of the Movie Mavericks podcast. Getting close to number 400 there. I'm Trevor Anderson. Send you over to Jason Rugard. He's got a rundown for us.
Well, like Trevor said, before we get into tonight's episode, we want to tell you guys we got a very special episode coming up, the 400th episode of the Movie Mavericks podcast, and we're going to be doing a look back at our first, 25 or so episodes. Some things we said, things we talked about, mistakes we made on air. It's going to be...
Things we said.
Wow, yeah, things that we're accountable for today.
Oh, God. So it's an apology tour.
It's going to be...
It's time to apologize. It's been long enough, guys.
I listened to this, kind of curating it for the experience, for the episode, and it's shocking how naive and dumb that we were and how we still are. We have not come very far. Right. But it is pretty amusing, and we're going to be listening to this live during the episode. Trevor hasn't heard this yet, so we'll be experiencing this together. Come join us for that in a couple episodes. Episode 400 coming soon. But right now, we're going to be talking about movies tonight. The Bricklayer, new to Netflix. Lisa Frankenstein, which was directed by Zelda Williams and written by Diablo Cody. And Drive Away Dolls, the first movie by Etan Coen, who's just one half of the Coen brothers, the very heralded filmmaking
That's
duo.
His first solo?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so.
Interesting.
I could be wrong, though. But also, trailers. Got a lot of trailers to talk about tonight, or at least three specific ones. Unfrosted? Unfrosted?
Unfrosted,
the Pop-Tart story with Melissa McCarthy and Jerry Seinfeld. That's a Netflix movie. As well as, what are the other trailers? Why am I blinking here? We said... Maxxxine. The trilogy. Joker de la Fou. I don't speak French. I'm just going to say Joker Part 2.
It's called Joker Foleardou.
Yeah, I don't get into that. It's got a lot of phlegm involved. First, though, let's do some trivia. I want to know what you got for me tonight. I'm feeling good.
All right. Legends of the Fall is an Edward Zwick movie that centers on a Montana family named the Ludlows. Which of these characters narrates the film? Decker, Tristan, Stab, or Samuel? Now, I don't remember, because I don't really remember this. I only saw this movie back when it came out.
I feel like this is a trick question, and they all narrated at some point. But I want to say it was narrated by... Are they all male choices? Give me the names again. I know it's not Tristan.
I guess. It's right. That's the one that I would say definitely not as well. I don't know about... Is there one named Stab? Is that a fucking name in that movie? Samuel and Decker and Stab.
I'm going to say Decker. No, fuck. I guess Stab. I don't know who Stab is, but Samuel dies. Stab? Decker is the bitter one. Tristan is the free spirit. I guess I'll go Stab.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Me neither.
So I guess I would have to go back and see that again.
Yeah, shit. I guess it's been time. It's been about 30 years since I've seen that movie.
I remember it being a good movie. It was one of those big... We don't have a lot of sweeping dramas like that anymore. And I was thinking about comedies as well. We don't have a lot of comedies the way they used to do them, you know?
Well, this kind of drama was a very surprise that this was a rental for me, and I was...
Yeah, this was one of those big rental ones. And like it was like the Titanic thing, right? All the girls wanted to watch Legends of the Fall. Brad Pitt.
But it was actually good,
so
too.
Hot.
And Titanic was good, too.
Yeah, it was good. You don't have to impress your girlfriend. Fiance. She's not listening, all right?
I still watch Titanic. I like that movie. All right, what do we got?
All right. Other side of the book here. What long-deceased icon appeared posthumously in a... Coors beer commercial in 1996. Elvis Presley, Clark Gable, John Wayne, or Groucho Marx. I don't remember. Sounds like John Wayne.
I was going to have to go
know.
John Wayne. I'm going to have to go John Wayne.
I'm uncertain. Yep, John Wayne.
Just makes sense. I remember, wasn't Orson Welles? No.
Well, Elvis Presley was like Pepsi or whatever, right? Didn't he do Coke or Pepsi? Or was it
I'm
Coke?
thinking of Yul Brynner when he did that on that smoking PSA after he was dead about like if I had stopped smoking. You remember that? It was bizarre.
No.
Oh, bro, Google this. He did a fucking PSA about when he was dying about smoking that was to be aired after he passed away. It was fucking creepy. We were young when that came out. Or I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, so I mean, I was very young when that came out. I remember
You're 1 year older than me, so I don't want to.
Yeah, I know, right? But still.
Pretty trying to fool you.
Listen here, son. I'm telling you what happened.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Down in Mayberry.
Yeah. Okay, Grandpa.
Let's see if we can get one more for the night on a hot roll here.
What actor called Marilyn Monroe's professional amateur? What the hell? What actor called Marilyn Monroe a professional amateur? Oh, I'm retarded. Tony Curtis, Laurence Olivier, Clark Gable, or Dean Martin?
I think Tony Curtis.
It would have to be Tony Curtis, right? I mean, maybe Laurence Olivier?
Tony Curtis is the first name that popped into my head.
He's an asshole, seems like, right? I mean, but
and they work together.
Isn't Olivier or whatever his name also?
I'm sure Olivier is an asshole. I'm sure all these guys are fucking anal retentive.
Dean Martin? No. So we'll go. No. So it was Laurence Olivier.
Oh, well.
Lawrence Oliver. Okay, it's Olivier.
And most people know from Clash of the Titans. Played Zeus in Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, unless you're really old, right? Then you know him from other things.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, I think he was born like 120 years ago. It's like Sir John Gielgud.
Yeah, I don't know.
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, I do know him from other stuff, but only if you were to refresh my memory.
Yeah, didn't we look at recently? He played Othello as well. That was a trivia question.
Yeah, he did play Othello.
Yeah, it was one of our trivia questions.
Yeah, that might have been a trivia question. Yeah,
recently. All right, let's get into the movies because I'm excited to talk about at least one or two of these movies.
Drive Away Dolls and Lisa Frankenstein, right?
Let's talk first about The Bricklayer because this is the one that's on the top 10 of Netflix right now. This is directed by Renny Harlin, starring the ever-present Aaron Eckhart, who's done like 5 movies this year. I don't know if he's trying to take over the mantle of what Steven Seagal or Bruce Willis was doing, but he is appearing in a lot of movies as of late. And Nina Dobrev in a CIA thriller that is a throwback to the 90s. And as I'm watching this movie, I find it perfectly enjoyable. I must say I'm actually recommending this movie because it's stupid, it's lowbrow, it's entertaining. It's got a nice set piece in the beginning with a fight that starts on a roof and ends with a car chase. I mean, it's really polished.
My only complaint about that is it takes too long to get there.
It did take a while. That thing developed over quite a while. But at the same time, this is a James Bond wannabe. This is Renny Harlin's shot at doing a James Bond caper.
Is that what it is?
Kind of looked like that to me with all the tuxedo wearing and the exotic locations. And I kind of liked the interplay between Eckhart and Dobrev. He's a bit of a dick to her, to be honest. There's not much of a connection for the first half of the movie. I thought Clifton Gonzalez Jr. was a bit miscast as the villain character. I didn't really know what he was doing in the movie, but I did like he was being bad guy. I did like the midway plot twist where he let him go, and because he said he would disappear and that he didn't kill him and thought he had killed him. He knew he hadn't killed him. So there was a couple of mild surprises in here, some professional work done by Renny Harlin and all involved, and an enjoyable 2 hours for me.
I really wish that this movie was took itself a little bit more seriously. It feels almost meta at this point to make an action movie that's a throwback. It's almost like Renny Harlin aping Renny Harlin for a lot of the fight sequences and things. And Aaron Eckhart is, of course, just overacting on purpose. He's a tough guy. He's talking in this
Eastwood monotone,
growly voice. But it's obviously it's apparent that he's doing that on purpose. He doesn't actually talk like that. That being said, I thought Eckhart and Dobrev's they're played well off each other, and they kept her character interesting, at least. She was trying to figure him out the whole time, kind of as we were, and in a way she got it right, but then also, as you say, there were twists and things, and as the movie revealed those, it was pretty obvious. I mean, there's nothing insane in those twists. But I do like that they didn't take the Tim Blake Nelson character in this, the CIA boss guy who hires him, and make him the bad guy.
Yeah, I thought the first scene, here we go.
Yeah, I know. But I like that they didn't do that. They were like, nah, fuck that. And then even in the end, so now you're open for, they did themselves a favor, I think, in that, because now you're open to, Bricklayer 2, the cement pourer or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, the whole thing's kind of funny because the only brickwork he does is in
the very beginning.
It's decorative, bro. Yeah. He was decorative brickwork. He's like the guy you remember Batteries Not Included, the guy who's doing the tile on the floor in the fucking bathroom. That's him. That's the bricklayer. Like it's just fucking unbelievable. And I love when they fucking fly to Greece. Where do they go in this movie? In Europe? In Greece? And she goes to take a shower and he's fucking gone. No. And when we cut to him, he's fucking admiring these dudes doing brickwork up on the roof of the fucking building.
Not like that. He comes back, bro. You're forgetting the sequence where he comes back and he finds the one brick that's not in place in like the fire mantle, and where the guy's hiding the notes at.
Because he knows, because he's the bricklayer, so he fucking sees it. He's like, I know this shit.
He literally says in the script, "This is sloppy work." Like he knows, because he knows interior masonry work. Let me tell you what.
It's fucking yeah. I mean, this is a movie that as we watched it, we cracked jokes the entire time.
That's what this is for.
It's super fun. It's super great. My only worry again is that we get these types of movies, and it's just too easy to do this meta thing. Like, what happened to? I mean, it's almost like you can never go back. Well, I don't know. This is kind of a cheap shot then at the stuff that I used to like. Like, I would rather have to some degree that we try this for real. That you actually try to do what we were doing in the mid to late 2000s, right? With the Cuba Gooding or Steven Seagal or Wesley Snipes, which is this basically is. But I don't know. I would like to go back to something real other than just tongue-in-cheek shit, I
agree with you
Even though this was good.
But, having seen The Beekeeper earlier this year, this is just as entertaining, and I think that Renny Harlin is as proficient, if not more, with this stuff than David Ayer is. So I don't know why he's not directing at least, Expendables 4.
Maybe, but
he could have given him something that could have made it to theaters.
I mean, David Ayer's David Ayer is going to try to do something deeper, right? Which is probably too much. And that's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for something very surface, like level, but just a fucking action. I'm asking for a movie that is fucking shitty, but doesn't know that it's shitty, right?
Yeah, I get you saying.
But it's like, how can you create that in this type of a world where you have to pitch this stuff? And yeah, there's just no way you can do that. Everything's meta, at this point. Like, everything knows that it's a fucking movie at this, everything knows that it's selling. Sell, right? It's just weird to me. I don't know.
I watched The Saint recently.
I like the movie.
This is better than The Saint. This is better than a lot of
For sure.
the movies like Ava that came out recently, or The Protege. A lot of these kind of killer CIA
I disagree about that. I think Ava's better than this movie.
Really? I thought Anna was better than this, but not Ava.
Anna is... I still haven't even gotten through Anna.
The Luc Besson film?
Yeah.
Here we are splitting hairs about
rough.
Shitty action films. But
Ava, I thought, was really good, but Jessica Chastain is so good.
Hold on, wait a minute. I stand corrected. Ava was not what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the 113. The one where they're...
yeah, that one's fucking awful.
That's what I was thinking about. That's Bryce Dallas Howard, right? That's not Jessica Chastain.
Oh, I don't know. Is she in that? I don't really remember that one. That one is fucking awful. Jessica Chastain is the one in Ava, but Ava is really good, obviously, because John Malkovich.
And I think Colin Farrell was in that as well, and he was pretty good. Yeah.
So, but that one was a very serious spy movie. I'm not even asking for that, like for that serious of a fucking spy movie. I'm really asking for like a goofy action movie like we used to get, but ones where people took themselves seriously, right? Like, to a point where sometimes you would get a really bad one, and it was just so bad. It was fucking awesome. I'm talking like, like The Specialist, like shit like that, where you're just like, this, like Stallone's trying to be so, like, it's trying to be more, obviously more than it is. It just comes off ridiculous.
Oh, I love The Specialist because every actor is playing in a different movie within the same movie. They're all in the different, wildly different
I like
tones.
That kind of stuff. Like, you get weird shit in that type of things, and I don't know. I don't want every movie to be this fucking folded in on itself plot that I have to try to figure out and decompress. I hate that. So I like that this didn't have that. I like that this didn't go for like the weird fucking thing. And as this really doesn't have a twist. It kind of just unfolds.
Yeah,
there's no twist.
It's easy to
It just
watch.
unfolds, and it unfolds in flashbacks, and it unfolds in such a way that you go, oh, well, I already know what's going to happen then, and then it just kind of tells you and stuff. So yeah, it's very easy to watch. I enjoyed it. I thought the action's great. The Renny Harlin can still shoot action.
Fuck yeah, he can. I've been watching Renny Harlin movies my whole life, I feel like, and he still delivers on a lot of this shit.
Yeah, it looks great.
And he knows how to stage a scene. It's not ever boring.
Oh, and this movie's lit fantastically.
Oh, fuck yeah, it is. I'm glad you mentioned that. It looks fucking great. All these movies actually are lit fantastically that we're going to talk about on tonight's show. This especially, though, for the action sequences and the cinematography. That fight on top of the... where he's doing the masonry work, the brickwork, and he gets shot at, and then there's that big sign behind him. Reminded me of like a Highlander fight where...
Well, you know this is a good movie when he gets shot, and of course it's in the one part of your body where there's no organs.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
You know that lower left side
for sure,
there,
or your shoulder.
Where he gets shot. But then what does he do? He fucking duct tapes that shit shut. Oh, we're in for it now.
And then we're never mentioning that ever again.
The duct tape holds. What do you mean?
The duct tape holds.
He doesn't have to change that out.
The duct tape holds. That's like the dude abides.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on and talk about the next movie on tonight's show. And that is going to be Drive Away Dolls. This is Etan Coen's solo debut, or at least his solo project. And I imagine this is a passion project for him because he split from his brother to do this, went through the trouble of making this, recruiting all these very, very talented people, and I just don't know what the fucking point of all this is. It's an exercise for me in patience because I didn't connect with a single character on screen. There was a couple moments that I thought were mildly amusing, but overall, I thought this movie was on the level of a bad amateur film, of something out of film school. This movie was so obnoxious to me that it actually made me appreciate Lisa Frankenstein more. And I actually upgraded my review of Lisa Frankenstein because of this. Don't do that.
Shame. Don't do that shit. They can both. They're both bad. Yeah, this movie's pretty terrible. I thought there were moments that I thought were really pretty decent in this. Once the two girls were starting to actually fall in love, I thought it got a little more interesting. At least their characters became more relevant to the storyline. As before, no one mattered, and I don't even like the bad guys. It's like that Coen brothers type aesthetic to the bad guys chasing them as this kind of like humorous. It doesn't work. And it's really there's not a plot here because they don't get caught till the end of the movie. They don't even know what they have until the end of the movie. This is such a slow burn. It's ridiculous. Like the first act of this movie is horrendous as well and so boring. It takes so long to get to any point where you're like, oh, at least I understand what the hell we're doing now. But even at that point, it's just two girls falling in love.
Well, also
that's the whole movie.
The stinger, the opening epilogue or the opening prologue with Pedro Pascal in the bar and he's running, which I thought opened up well, and then he starts running down the street like he's in a cartoon, and the music, and I thought this is as goofy as Crime Wave back in 1985 that they did, and then it really, that's actually Sam Raimi, I think, and the Coen brothers. But
that is Sam Raimi.
That's what it reminded me of, is that kind of like off the wall, like, oh, this like weird city. I thought, okay, what's happening here? But then they move away from that. This is after the guy gets the double corkscrews in the neck. They move away from that into this very graphic lesbian comedy.
Oh, the movie's very awkwardly sexually graphic, I thought, without reason.
Yeah, without reason, exactly right.
I get that we're making like an LGBT movie here and that these girls are lesbians, but I don't understand the weird like graphic stuff that people do with these types of movies. And there's always like that whole scene with the girl with the dildo on the wall, like, oh, this is your wall dildo.
It wasn't funny.
You didn't take it. It's like, it's not funny and it's fucking weird.
It actually made me feel sad for the character. If I walked into someone's
house and they had that in their house, I'd be like, what like, you're a fucking weird person, you know what I mean?
Well,
it has nothing to do with you being gay. Like, you're just fucking weird. Like, why are I feel like
characters
it's just
just
such a
aren't
disservice.
drawn well here, and there's a lot of mishumor.
Well, look.
And Beanie Fieldstein, her presence made me think of Booksmart, which is infinitely better than this movie.
So I was actually going to bring that up to you because I know that you really liked Booksmart, and that's what I think. I feel like this movie was going for that, but it misses it obviously because
By a wide mark.
Yeah, and that movie deals with a very similar issue, except that movie is more real. Like the characters are more real. Like this movie takes a while, as I say, to even get to a point where these characters feel like they're real and they're actually in love. But there's a movie. I'll go back 20 years to a movie that I liked quite a bit, Debs, which is a very similar thing to this, but it's a much sillier, spy movie about lesbians. And that movie doesn't have like the weird graphic sex thing. But at the same time, you get the sense of character and of people falling in love and doing all this. And I don't know, trying to make I guess it does. I guess sex comedies don't actually. I know sex comedies don't always work, and trying to make a sex comedy that's also not even a heist comedy.
Crime
I don't know
caper.
What's the part
it's like
of it?
Repo
Is it even
Man
a crime
in a
caper?
sense because they don't even know that they're on the lam or on the chase.
But the crime thing is also that it's dildos made from
I know.
some government guy.
How clever.
Who's very how clever. Yeah, exactly. But that's the whole right. That's what makes this even worse than that is that there's like this weird quasi political message thing in here where the guy, this is Matt Damon's character, who plays like this. He's must be like a state senator or something. I don't know what he is, but he's some local government guy who is like faith based and like obvious and all this stuff. But they have a briefcase full of dicks that are dildos, right? That are made from his dick, right? It's fucking like what?
I'm telling you, this. When I said it felt like an amateur, I told you
it's
it
weird.
feels like a kid out of film school had an idea and a script, and they say, "Okay," but because this was a Coen brother, nobody had the balls to say, "This is not a good script. This is not a good idea. What's the purpose of this movie?" I have no problem that it has two lesbians as the main characters.
But
it's just not a good movie.
Is this how people act? Is this how people rebel? Is this how people in power come down on these types of people? Is this what? Because it's a weird fucking movie. Like I don't understand the plot of the movie. I don't understand the point of who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, what is actually happening here, other than these two girls are falling in love.
And neither of those girls are likable characters.
Everything
on top
else
of
seems
it.
noise.
And they don't have to be likable characters, but at least don't feel like your archetypes. Because the way that Margaret Qualley is acting with her accent and all that, it feels like this is a stage play.
The Texas.
It all feels.
The Texas.
Nothing is believable in this movie for a second. It feels like a lark. It feels like everybody had a good time making it. I just had a terrible time watching it.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie.
All right, let's move on. That movie fucking irritates me. Give me your review of Lisa Frankenstein, and then I'll go by my next. Because I think I told you that I let it slip at least that I was really down on this. And I'm changing my mind after watching this.
You can change your mind. I'm still down on it. I didn't think this delivered nearly anything close to what the trailer promised. I think that Lisa in this movie is a fucking horrible human being. And the movie doesn't do enough to, make it okay that she's even going with this guy. And again, here's another movie that I don't understand. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to break down movies and like have to unpack this shit. But I don't get why she is in love with this fucking guy. I don't get it. I don't get the movie. I don't understand it. And it feels forced. It feels like it's trying to be this weird 80s throwback with horror things, and there's supposed to be all this rage and hate, and there's supposed to be violence, but it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. The characters don't resonate. They feel very not just cliche, but they don't make decisions that make any sense. I don't get it. Like why she first meets this guy. Well, she wakes the guy up, right? And then so he comes out of his grave and he shows up at her house and she's afraid of him. And then she's not afraid of him. And it goes from 100 to 0, and there's no reason. It doesn't make any sense. Why is she not afraid of him anymore?
Because she gave him a
that's
shower.
this whole movie to me.
She gave him an Encino Man makeover.
No, she didn't. It happened before that. It's a dumb movie. It's just dumb.
It's lit well, I'll say that. It's got a nice look to it. It's not very well directed. I didn't think Zelda Williams pulled this off with any particularly aplomb.
It's not very well written either.
It feels like a first draft by Diablo Cody, although there are elements I like. I really liked the sister, who was clearly a slut and was trying to play it off and all these kind of things. But that's been done 100 times before in other movies. Even the stunt casting, Carla Gugino in there, who was in a lot of 80s movies herself. It just, there was elements that I did like, and I thought this reminded me of a 90s movie that didn't get a lot of love called My Boyfriend's Gonna Be Back. My Boyfriend's Back. Remember that? Where the guy dies and comes back from the grave, takes the girl to prom. That's what I thought this really was aping, if anything else. But like you said, the Lisa character herself is such a despicable person and does such horrific things that there's nothing to get behind on any level here.
I would go back to My Demon Lover, which I think is a way better movie
with
than
Scott
this.
Valentine. Go you.
Yeah, way, way, way better movie than this, and weird and freaky and all that. But at least has heart. Like at least there's in that movie he's a demon, he's evil, but he's trying to be good for her. In this movie, this guy's just evil and bad. And she just says, fuck it, I don't even care. Like, she kills the stepmom, the Carla Gugino character. But
quickly and
the sister is nice to her. The sister is, like, I don't know. And I just don't get it. It doesn't warrant her reaction, what she does. She goes way too far. And it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
I had the same reaction that I had to this as I did to Jennifer's Body when I first saw it. And that movie grew on me over the years. So possibly,
I really like Jennifer's Body, though.
Did you, when you first saw it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm split on Diablo Cody's work. I go.
Oh, me too.
Young adult, I love. I liked. What was the one that we saw together? Tully, I liked a lot.
I didn't like Tully.
There's been other ones that I've liked, but strangely enough, I hated Juno.
Juno, you love.
I can't stand that fucking movie.
I don't know why it's strange. Juno is weird. I mean, Diablo Cody's weird, which is fine, but I don't get this movie, I guess. Someone would have to just explain it to me because I'm not going to think about it because I don't think it's that interesting.
It's also playing on nostalgia, right? I mean, the soundtrack is, if you take away the soundtrack,
right,
what's left? And I kept thinking about that because it does have some beautiful music in here that I love, and the slowed down versions of things. And there's a bit of a Anne Rice Interview with the Vampire vibe going on that I was trying to get behind. But overall, it kept coming back to this character who was basically like a Napoleon Dynamite type person running around this fucking movie. This disaffected person. She
makes all the wrong decisions. And then somehow is like, she's not necessarily rewarded for it, but somehow
she's like let off the hook for it.
Go along with it. I don't understand why I would go along with it or feel like I don't like her enough. I don't even know her, let alone like her enough to be like, oh yeah, just kill these people. And some guy like copped the feel.
So now you can kill him.
So you deserve to kill him. Like I don't.
Was that because
I don't get
the mom was
like,
killed by the slasher? What does that have to do with the movie?
Right. See, this is what I'm saying. So is there some other thing where like this is in her head or there's something else? I don't know. I don't fucking get it. I don't want to get it. I think it's terrible.
I just think it was a first draft or it needed another polish. But I did think there was a couple of clever lines in there, and overall just needed to be reworked into a better screenplay overall.
Yeah, so it sucked. You can say
compared to Drive Away Dolls, it's...
No, don't compare them. Don't compare them.
I watched them on damn near the same day, so it's like compared because...
You shouldn't compare them. They're both shit.
One leads to the other.
One leads to the other. It's a slippery slope, my friend.
That's true. That is true. All right, what do we got next? Let's do trailers. All right, what do we got first? Joker? Go ahead. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't get it. Honestly, I don't understand it. I don't understand how we get from the first movie to this movie. So he's in jail now. So I guess in the first movie, nothing came to fruition out of the first movie. He wasn't able to do anything, or maybe he was, and then they caught him. I don't know. But it's an awful. It just feels like a reset to me. from the first movie to this. We're going to reset it. I don't understand this Joker character either. He's not a mastermind. He's not, doesn't feel like he actually wants to take over the world or really do anything. I don't get the sense in this movie that he does either. Yeah, I mean, I think Lady Gaga looked pretty good as Harley Quinn. I like the idea of bringing Harley Quinn in here because I don't really know what the hell else he would do with this Joker character because he is fucking flaccid, I guess, to say the least, as far as villains go. I think Batman would squash this guy like a fucking bug if he came across him. So, I don't know. I don't know that I care.
It looks like it's going to be brilliant, right? Like just the filmmaking, that sequence when she draws the little smile and then he puts his face in there. That's just about as cinematic as it comes, man. That looks fantastic. And this is going to get all the attention, but
it's gross to me. I don't know. That's such a fucking...
That's clean.
There's no meaning in that.
It just hasn't been done before with these characters. That's the only thing.
Please. With these characters, yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think it needs to be done.
Is it a musical, though? Because that was the word on the street, and this looks like it is.
Sure.
Definitely. There's some hints.
I think they're going to hide it.
Yeah, there's some definitely hints, though.
But yeah, I do think that it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be, which is going to be divisive in itself. And I don't think I'm up for a musical.
Maybe. It depends on how much music there is, right? It depends on how... I don't know. If they allow action to unfold during the musical parts, it would be better. Like, I just watched Wonka not too long ago, and for fuck's sake, is that boring? And most of it's boring because when he sings the song, it like stops the whole movie so he can express a feeling or express something. And it's like, holy shit, I get it. Let's get the movie going here. You have to pause the movie to sing a fucking song.
It's one of my least favorite things.
As long as they don't do that, then it could be pretty cool. I don't know, I guess, as far as like musical stuff. But I don't... Joker and Harley Quinn, I get it. I've seen it. There's a lot of Harley Quinn out there right now. There's a lot of the Joker out there. I don't think this is new. I just don't... I don't know. This is a very weak Joker character. This is probably the weakest that they've ever made. And I thought that from the first movie. It's a rather pointless fucking movie.
It just looks like it's done with such creative force behind it that it's going to be something to at least look at.
But that's fake. That's fake to me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste my time looking at, here's a frame of this. Okay, well, I don't fucking go I don't go to art galleries and spend my day looking at people who've taken pictures of things. I don't give a fuck. I want to see a movie. Tell me a story. Don't take a picture of something. And don't feed me this bullshit where it's like, well, here's in this like framing, like there's the story and shit. It's like, well, you're just like reading into it at that point. Like it should be fucking obvious and support it, right? It shouldn't just be like, well, that's really cool to look at. So the whole movie's just cool to look at. I don't give a fuck anymore. I've seen too many of that movies that are cool to look at. I don't want to do that anymore. I want a movie that's going to fucking like move me and matter and something that I can talk about other than just it looks cool or, you know, it's fucking weird. I'm done.
Well, Todd Phillips wants your money and he's coming for it.
He's not going to
October 4th. This is coming out.
Unless this is somehow... I don't know. I'll wait and see.
I have a feeling we'll be talking about this come next March with the Oscars.
Probably.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
But will I be saying...
how flaccid Fleck is?
How if it's any good? I don't know. Maybe I'll change my tune. There you go. See what I did there?
Very, very melodic. All right, next we got, what's next? Maxxxine, which is the last.
Let's do Unfrosted first.
All right, let's do
this one because this one's shit.
Is it shit, though? I think that this trailer looks interesting in that it took a real event and has added a total fictional
and made it
up to it. It just.
Well, I mean, that's what all of the movies did.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, when you got Jack LaLanne and Chef Boyardee and this kind of stuff, like, what is going on here?
What is this a story? I mean, here's the thing, right? This is a story that if you told it in any other way, it wouldn't be worth telling. So I don't know if that's
worth telling.
I just don't know if that's a good thing or not, right? To me, because this feels, and it's very Jerry Seinfeld-ish. Obviously, he was a writer on it. He's the director of it. He's fucking in it. I don't know, man. It's not the fucking 90s anymore. Like, I don't know that this is that funny. I didn't find it very funny. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think the trailer's funny. I don't know if this can sustain itself into a 90-minute movie. I really don't. I liked Bill Burr as JFK. I liked, the Quaker there and Quaker. There's a couple gags in here that worked. But overall, I just don't know if this can sustain itself for 90 minutes of this goofiness. It reminded me of the Larry David HBO movie Clear History about the guy who did the first car. Do you remember that? Electric car. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a made-up, fictionalized version of a historical event. So I thought maybe that's what they were going for here. And that movie was surprisingly entertaining. So hopefully this will be the same. But like I said, sometimes these sketches are good for 2 to 3 minutes and don't pan out.
I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I have seen. I mean, actually, the last couple of I don't know. What are these? They're like not biopics, but they're like
historical picks.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I like the Blackberry movie and stuff, but it's not a biopic, but it is about those guys, but not really.
You like Dumb Money more than I did, at least.
I don't know, and I like Dumb Money, but those movies like that, which are about a thing, like The Social Network, right? It's not necessarily about Zuckerberg. It's about like that thing that happened. Whereas you go see like a movie like Ray or something, that movie's about Ray Charles, right? Whereas these movies are like about like an event or something unfolding, so to say. So I guess.
I think that Seinfeld.
I don't know. I could like it because it's like, it's weird. It's like a weird, again, maybe it'll be meta enough that I'll be like, oh yeah, this is how those fucking movies are,
I think old Jerry saw that Eva Longoria made a movie about Flaming Hot Cheetos, and she said, "Fuck this."
That wasn't real.
He said,
and they said, "Hey, it's real anyway. It's real enough to worry
We're
about
making
it."
the Pop-Tart movie, motherfuckers. Well, they got Post and Kellogg to sign off on it somehow. So I mean. The power of Seinfeld.
So I'm surprised. I mean, obviously, Seinfeld loves cereal, so I'm surprised that this is a Pop-Tart movie and not like a cereal movie.
Oh, what if it was a series? So it would be a cereal series.
No, it's not.
Could have done something. Next, I want.
This has a review? Wait,
no,
what?
It doesn't have a review. That's some bullshit. There's no way.
No, it's not listed. DVD Fever.
No, that's obviously clickbait.
Oh, what a fucking foolish thing. It's a review of the trailer. Shut up.
We do the same thing, my man.
We don't do no trailer reviews.
Oh, we do.
Oh, you're right, with the podcast.
We do.
Okay, that's good.
We're literally doing it right now.
That's good. I approve, actually.
Keep on, DVD Fever.
Let me roll that back real quick. I like that. That's
keep
good.
On. Pull
good
that
job.
foreskin back, and you just keep on ramming through.
Go ahead.
All right. The last trailer we're going to talk about on, speaking of foreskin, is going to be Maxxxine, the last film in the Thai West.
Maxxxine.
Triple X-ine.
Maxxxine.
And I have been hot and cold on this series so far.
Really? What was...
I liked the first one. I did not care for the second one, which is, I guess, the prequel.
Right. I didn't like either.
I thought the first. Well, I like the first one better than the second one. I mean, I'm not the biggest horror fan, but this last one actually looks the most intriguing to me. Maybe it's because of the setting. Maybe it's because it's the culmination of where I wanted to see. Where I think maybe this is the movie that they should have just made from the jump. But it looks good. Kevin Bacon looks like a total fucking sleaze in this, and Mia Goth. This has become her signature role, I guess, because this is what I'm always going to associate her with, and I'm kind of pumped to see this one. What do you think?
Yeah, like I said, I really didn't like the first two ones. I did not like the second one at all. I think this looks fucking awesome. Quite frankly, this is one of the best trailers I've seen in a while, and so I'm a little scared because I really like the Lisa Frankenstein trailer, which this has that same feeling too because it takes place in the 80s. But this storyline is fucking crazy. Like, I love this shit. They're gonna be making a movie. There's this fucking private investigator after her, and she's got to take care of all this shit. I don't know. This sounds great. Great cast, as you already said. But you got Michelle Monaghan in here, Lily Collins, Halsey, Giancarlo Esposito. Come on, and fucking Kevin Bacon. And it looks insane, and I love the fucking Psycho House shot.
Oh, she's on the Universal backlot. If you look,
they're on the Universal backlot because they're making a fucking movie and stuff.
Totally works.
Doing this horror movie, and I love the talk in the video store, like that whole scene. She's like, then they're like, and she's like, name like actors that have made them their start in horror movies and all this shit. It's just, I don't know, that whole trailer. That's like what Drive Away Dolls was trying to do. It feels like, and this trailer fucking just had all these elements folding in on each other, and it just felt like it worked.
The sleaze of this movie, and I mean this in a good way, this looked like at any moment the film print could just burn up and like dissolve. You know, like I want to watch this in a grindhouse. This is the kind of movies that you'd see in the newspaper in the 80s and 90s, and it would be the big guys and then the little box ad for this movie. Like, what's this little fucking B movie from Canon Films? But this is what it reminds me of, Angel and that kind of stuff. I know that's what it's homaging.
The Angel movies,
what it's ripping off, and Hollywood Vice Squad and that kind of stuff. But damn if this doesn't look fun. And I hate to say that a movie about an exploited girl looks fun, but I think that's kind of the point here, right? It's a revenge-o-matic.
But she's not necessarily exploited, right? She definitely feels like she's in control, and she's making these choices, and she's trying to start her career. And if you get in her way, you might be fucked, you know? But then there are obviously forces that are actually trying to get in her way. And so she's not just some evil person necessarily, but there's other evil people. There's all kinds of shit going on. And like you say, it's sleazy, you know, and I don't know, it looks and it feels so 80s. And I love that. Like, I'm all there. Bring that back. But I hope that it actually creates that world in the movie and not just in the trailer. Because, you know, so many times you get these trailers that are created out of music, and they cut things to the music, and then you see the movie, and it's not like that.
Why didn't you like the first two? What were you against in the first two?
Well, the first one's boring as all fuck.
I thought the second one was, to be fair.
And then so is the second one, but the first one I was just boring as shit. Like, and it took forever. And by the time you got to the point where the old lady was killing people, I just didn't care. I just kill them all. Who gives a shit? And it wasn't even that interesting to watch any of that stuff. And I don't know. And I get the shock value that was in that movie for, I guess, one scene in particular. But whatever. And the second one, just I don't even understand the point of why the second one even exists. It's fucking weird, and the whole like Wizard of Oz shit, and like just all the callbacks to like the old movies and stuff. And you know, the fact that Martin Scorsese was like, this is the greatest fucking movie in the world. It's like, bro, like, God, really? This is boring as shit.
I thought the first one at least had an interesting novel idea that reminded me of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or one of the grindhouse movies that we were talking about. The second one to me seemed...
Well, that's why it's not novel, though.
The second one to me seemed to be world building for no reason, and it didn't expand it. It actually took it backwards.
But the first one does that too, right? They have horror is notorious for sitting around, wasting time, twiddling thumbs, right? I can't remember what the term is necessarily for it, but Federal and Ray has a good term for it. You know, action movies do it too, but in the older movies, it would be shots of people walking around, right?
Like a walk and talk.
But in today's movies, it's people talking. Like, so you have a lot of conversations, and these things will be like these Tarantino-esque, like wannabe fucking conversations. That was the first one was like that, right? Where what's her name? The Wednesday Addams girl.
You're talking about Christina Ricci.
No.
Ortega.
Thank you, Jenna Ortega. And with all that shit and with all the porno stuff and this and that, which it just didn't fucking matter, right? It just doesn't matter as far as the story goes. And so there's just too much time wasted on shit like that. Superfluous like fucking things, and it's happening too much in a lot of movies where I just like, I get the idea of what you're saying. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear it. Like, you can just tell me in a sentence. Like, I'm good. I don't need scenes and scenes. I don't need a fucking first act and halfway through the second act of this shit. Just fucking do it. Do what you're gonna do. Get into it. I'm so tired of these slow burn fucking movies at this point.
Well, the second one definitely
there's no reason for it. There's just no reason.
I thought the first one, like I said, moved pretty well. It's set in the 70s, which gave it a kind of a grimy feel to it. Whereas
they go to that farmhouse and they never fucking
leave,
the
farmhouse in the first one, or the house that she's growing up with, the fucking repressed house. It's just the whole thing was just. I didn't feel for it. And like you said, Scorsese heralded it. I think Ty West is a very talented director. I liked You're Next. I liked In the Valley of Violence, that Western he did. You ever watch that with Travolta and Ethan Hawke? That was really good, I thought, for a offbeat Western.
That was an interesting movie. I thought Ethan Hawke was really good in that.
Even Travolta. I got to give him his credit for that.
Yeah, as the evil sheriff. Yeah,
and I've seen a lot of those recently. Those kind of B-movie, straight to DVD, or at least westerns. I watched one recently with Christian Slater called Dawn Rider. Oh God, and a couple other ones I stumbled upon. The Virginian,
Dawn Rider,
with fucking Trace Atkins.
The Virginian with the Trace Atkins.
Have you seen it? Yeah. Oh man.
You're talking my language here. I've seen all this shit.
Man, well, it ain't great. I'll tell you that. So, In the Valley of Violence, when I stumbled upon that one, it seemed head and shoulders above these other ones.
It's weird, though, to be honest. You're saying head and shoulders above, though. It is a fucking weird movie, to be fair. It is a Ty West movie. It's weird.
Yeah, you got to expect his flair to it. It'd be like if John Carpenter did a Western. That's going to have an odd flair to it.
Right. It's something's weird going to be about it. I don't know. He kind of has done westerns-ish.
Yeah,
things.
I mean, John fucking Carpenter, every movie he did is basically a western in there. I listened to the running commentary recently of They Live with him and Roddy, and Carpenter cracked me up. He had this policy, I guess you'd call it, on set where you could ask him, or going in his movies, actors could ask him, or anybody could ask him any question about anything. But the day they start shooting, nobody could fucking talk to him. He didn't want to talk to anybody after that. Perfect. He said, you know what you're supposed to do. We're on the move, and you fucking execute. I loved that.
Nice.
I just loved that.
Get to work.
And, speaking about Carpenter, I always think of Kurt Russell. Here's a bit of trivia. Do you know who the first choice was for Poseidon, the movie that eventually starred Kurt Russell? Do you know who they originally cast in that role?
No.
It was Russell Crowe. And apparently, Warner Brothers had such a fucking problem working with him on Proof of Life, which was the disaster where he had the affair, and just overall, just his demeanor and his behavior, that they fucking replaced him with Kurt Russell. And I don't know how wise of a move that. I mean, as much as I love Kurt Russell, have you ever gone to a movie because it was a Kurt Russell movie? Or did he just happen to be in a movie that you liked or were watching?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to a Kurt Russell movie because it had Kurt Russell in it.
And I can't think he's ever given a bad performance as far as I can think. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a knock on the guy. It's just, I don't ever, maybe Escape from L.A. or Soldier, I probably went and saw, but then...
Well, I can think about...
It was more the concept.
Probably not because... Yeah, I know, right? It's like... he has a bunch of movies. You're like, yeah, Kurt Russell has good movies, but he himself isn't... And he's a nice enough guy.
And in some good movies.
But he isn't a star. You know what? Maybe it has to do with the celebrity. Like, he doesn't have the same celebrity status that other people do. Even though he goes around, does talk shows and does things, everyone knows who he is. He just kind of stays out of the limelight.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, but then again, he's a Disney kid. He's been making movies since he was a fucking child.
Right.
And it's unbelievable how many movies he's been in.
Yeah.
I mean, and I always think I never have been drawn to the theater because Kurt Russell was in that movie and I had to catch it. But then again, when he shows up in a movie, I'm never upset that he's in that particular movie. You know, he's always good at what he's doing. And I thought if that was the same for you, if I was just peculiar.
I mean, I certainly have gone, I would go see pretty much any Schwarzenegger movie or Stallone.
Any of the guys.
Something like that. But when I think about Kevin Costner, I would say the same thing probably about him. I don't know that I go, even though I like Kevin Costner a lot, I don't know that I go to see a movie just because Kevin Costner's in it. It sounds like the movie is good. or else because Kevin Costner's in some shit, and I don't go see those. I didn't see them in theaters, right?
I can't wait to see what this Horizons movie does. This Costner's double whammy coming out this summer, because if the first one fails, oh wow! And I'm surprised we're not seeing more marketing.
Right.
We're only a few
they've
months
already
out.
shot. They've shot it all.
Fuck, they're both coming.
All happening. So that's what I'm saying. It's all happening, But I don't know. I mean, like when you think about, go back to the '90s, right? Like A Perfect World or The War. Even though I did see The War in theaters, but it wasn't because Kevin Costner was in it. I mean, there's no. I don't know. There's plenty of fucking Kevin Costner movies that just. There's just no way I would go see those because they were in it.
Fuck out of here. Message in a Bottle.
But if they're really good movies, but there's plenty of movies of his that are really good.
I mean, I saw For Love of the Game in a theater, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, and that's a really good movie, but I don't know that I would see that movie because of him necessarily. But he's not a negative, right? Like, that's the thing about it, especially with Kurt Russell as well. Like, not a negative, right? Like 3,000 Miles to Graceland. There you go.
Wow, we brought them both together. Well done.
Creating a fucking nexus here. Like, here's the black hole for all movies here.
Trevor just summed it all up in one fucking movie title.
But there you go. There's a movie that's pretty fucking good.
Or terrible, depending on your outlook.
And isn't... Oh, come on. It's a fun time. Because it's bad. But it's got both of them in it. And they're not bad necessarily in it, but, Yeah, that movie hurt both their careers, I think, as well. Because for a while, they didn't appear in anything after. I mean, that was... Well, Dragonfly. I mean, how dare you?
Fucking Dragonfly. And then Open Range as well.
Open Range is fucking awesome.
So Sky High. I got to give Kurt Russell credit. I like Sky High.
And the fact that, I mean, where is my fucking 4K for Open Range?
Fuck that. Where's my 4K for Captain Ron?
At least give me a fucking Blu-ray. What, Captain Ron? You know what? Captain Ron is fine on DVD. We're good on DVD for that.
Not even enhanced for widescreens.
I'm okay. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Is it?
I think I have a DVD of it.
Okay, I think I might have an early version of it. That's not. It's like an early Touchstone release.
Whatever. You don't need that movie to be enhanced.
You barely need that movie, but it's just glad that it exists.
You do need that movie. Shut up. You need it at least on VHS.
That thing better be on fucking Disney Plus. I'd be upset if I'm paying for that service and that's not on there.
And it better be in full screen.
You know what's weird is they don't have Rocket Man on there, the Harlan Williams one.
That's probably because he farts.
It's probably because I'm the only human being looking for Rocket Man on Disney Plus.
I have that on DVD. I like that.
I like Harlan Williams.
Because that movie reminds me, that's like one of those, that's the silly 90s shit where you get like Pauly Shore and like, and just those weird fucking nonsense comedy movies. I like those.
Hard or shit like that, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Just complete dog shit that's fucking
great.
great.
Here's one for you. Chairman of the Board with Carrot Top.
Got some Carrot Top there?
Yeah.
That's a great one. I don't know why he didn't, he got in too late on that, I think.
I think Yahoo Serious really stole his thunder.
Well, but that was way before. To be fair, he was already done before Carrot Top showed up in Chairman of the Board.
Young Frankenstein. Young Einstein is one of the strangest movies ever made. And then he did a follow-up movie that was even weirder. I can't think of the name of it, but it was fucking even stranger. Yahoo Serious, my God.
He did a couple of movies, right?
I think he did two, and the second one was like straight to video, or here at least. Can't think of the name of it.
Oh, there was Mr. Accident.
There you
go. But there was also this Reckless Kelly thing. What?
I think actually Reckless Kelly is what I'm thinking about.
I think the one you're thinking of is Reckless Kelly. But there was Mr. Accident. Which
was his whole fucking career, to be honest with you.
Actually, those three movies, I'm looking at it right now. Those are the only three movies. He went from 88 to 99 to 2000. Oh, man. He fucking missed the last decade. Is he dead?
Can we get him in another one just so we can keep this?
Bro, you fucked up. It's already too late. He fucked up. He didn't get the last decade. He could have had a movie in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. He made a movie this.
Could have been a fucking legend. Instead, he's a... He's just a trivia question on our podcast.
Instead, he's fucking sideshow Bob over here. He is a fucking weirdo, but whatever. And the 80s were a weird time. The 90s were a weird time. I liked them. I like the comedies.
The 80s were a time when a guy named Yahoo Serious could appear in a nationally released film.
Well, we were trying things at least back then, right? Like I miss that aspect of everything looks the same now. Everything's like kind of like I already know what things are gonna do, and if they do try stuff, it's gonna be like A24 level, like fucking weird. Like, oh, this is so fucking Christopher Nolan fucking. That's I call him Christopher.
Chrissy.
Felt like I felt very serious there, Christopher Robin. It's just too much, right? It's like fucking everything's just goddamn. Calm down. Give someone a fucking shot. Make some fucking movies. Let the cards, fall where they will, and let's fucking have some fun. Like I'm tired of this shit. I want fun back. I want to see weird shit. That's actually weird. That's not like just made to look.
Bro,
weird.
I rewatched Ricky Stenicki this week. I feel like I'm watching. And it made me laugh again. So. That's about as close as I can come to finding a rewatchable comedy or a rewatchable movie, in fact, in the last year.
That's okay, but I think that one's a little too long. And by long, I mean it just has stretch, especially the turnaround when he gets a job working with them. Like that whole stint is slow. Like, by that point you're like, oh god, this feels because it was already slow before, and it just, I don't know. That movie needs to be tightened up.
Speaking of tightening up, that's going to wrap up our episode for tonight. We want to thank you guys for joining us on episode 398. We are just a couple away from that classic 400, so join us for that. In a few weeks, we'll have that coming for you. Next up, we are going to have a retro of Reality Bites, a look back 30 years at the 1994 Ben Stiller-directed comedy with Ethan Hawke and Winona Ryder. Speaking for Trevor Anderson, I am Jason Rugard, and we are the Movie Mavericks.
Oh my, another magnificent episode has come to an end. If you're craving more, set your destination to moviemavericks.com, Warp 9. Engage!